Hello class, my name is Sarah Medoff. I will be your instructor for this fall semester for your Econ 332. So I just wanted to take some time to go over the online classroom and the syllabus. I have a limited time for this recording, so I'm going to make it kind of quick. So excuse my fast talking. Okay, so to access the syllabus, let's navigate to this Econ 332 tab. And you can press on this syllabus tab on the left panel. So you can go down here, and usually when I open Lalima, this is what happens when I embed a PDF or lecture slides within Lalima. And you can either do one of two things. You can either press this allow all cookies, and this should generate the PDF or embed the syllabus on your computer, but my computer is being ridiculously slow, probably because I am trying to record. So an alternative approach is just to open it up in another window, like I just did. Okay. So a lot of this stuff you can read asynchronously. I think what I really want to take this time to discuss is really explain the assignments. So in this class, we are going to have 3 different types of assignments. So we're going to have a forum discussion, quizzes, and writing assignments. So the forum discussions are going to be due every other Monday, or are going to be posted every other Monday, starting on this Monday. So it's every odd Monday. So this is week 1. This is an odd Monday. So we will have a forum discussion that is posted today. So you have a week to answer or respond to this discussion, and I'd like to see about 1 to 2 paragraphs in response. And then next week, the even weeks, you are going to be required to post a response to 2 other classmates. So on the Lalima tab, you should be able to navigate to the discussion posting, respond. Then you can read your classmates' responses and hit like a reply button and reply to them directly. So the next type of assignment that we will have in this class is going to be quizzes. So we're either going to have a quiz or a writing assignment due every Friday. So the quizzes are going to be due on the odd Fridays. So week 1 is today, or this week. You will have a quiz due this week Friday. So the quizzes are typically about 20 questions long, and they're going to be based primarily off of the lecture slides and potentially weekly readings if they're assigned. You do have unlimited time to take the quiz up until you have a limited time to take the quiz, and you can also take the quiz unlimited times. So, for example, week 1's quiz is due this week Friday. You can take the quiz as many times as you want up until this Friday at 5 p.m. Once you have this Friday at 5 p.m. has passed, you will be allowed to take the quiz one more time, and then after that, the quiz is closed. So I do encourage you to plan your week accordingly and try to start taking those quizzes as quickly as possible to really maximize the amount of times you'll be allowed to take them to achieve the grade that you want. Next is the writing assignment. So the quizzes are due every odd Friday. The writing assignments are going to be due every even Friday. So we don't have a writing assignment due this Friday. We will have a writing assignment due next week Friday. And then I do provide a rubric that basically will spell out how you are going to get an A, or I think it's like out of 5 points. So it's a 5 out of 5 on your writing assignment. So please read through this so you are able to format your writing assignment in the way that is going to maximize your grade. Okay, last thing I want to discuss on the syllabus is the course project. So we do not have a final for this class. We don't have a final, we don't have a midterm test. Instead, what we have is going to be 2 projects. So at the end of the semester, I do want everybody to come up with a research question. So the first deliverable on this research question is going to be a slide deck presentation that is going to be due, I think, during Thanksgiving week. So this will allow you to take the course. You'll be like 2 months into the course. You should have an idea based on all the different topics that we discussed, you should have an idea of what you would want your research question to be. And so in this first project deliverable, you're going to introduce your research question, you're going to introduce the literature, you're going to state some gaps in the literature and how this research question contributes to the field, and then you're going to include something about how you would answer this question. So what data sets would you use? Where would you find them? If you have any sort of statistical background, you could include something on modeling, although that is definitely not a requirement. Don't feel the need to, just if it interests you and you want to go above and beyond. The second deliverable is going to be the research paper. So this is going to be due at the end of the semester, and this research paper should be structured like a published journal article. And throughout the semester, we will have a ton of time to review a bunch of different publications and journal articles. So you should definitely try to pay attention to the formatting, the verbiage, how, authors articulate themselves within, published papers. So this paper is going to have, your topic. It's going to have the literature review, something about the data, what you would expect to find, and conclusions and implications. And so it's basically like the PowerPoint is kind of like an outline, and the paper is where you really provide the meat of the research question. So in addition to all of these things in the syllabus also talks about classroom content or conduct, prerequisites, what grades, and it does give a course calendar that you can refer to with actual dates, just so you can stay on top of it. Okay, so now we will look at the Laulima classroom. So I did try to organize my material so it is one topic is encompassed in one module, and each module should be 2 weeks long. So for this week and next week, we will be working out of this week 1 and 2 module. And all of the modules are structured the same. I have, the topic as a nice, beautiful title. I include a fun little interesting short video from YouTube, an introduction of what we're going to be talking about, and then I will get into the lecture slides. So the lecture slides you can either read directly out of Laulima like this, or just like the syllabus, you can open it up in a new window. In either case, whatever you choose to do involving the lecture slides, and excuse my computer, it's so slow because it doesn't like me recording simultaneously. The one thing I do want to show is what is given, the information given on the lecture slides is important, but what is equally and maybe more important is what is given in the comment sections of the lecture slides. So I used to record these lecture slides, but I would make little adjustments to them, and it just got too tedious to try to keep up with the video recordings on top of it. So these comments sections is basically what I would say if I were to give this this presentation in a classroom. So the quiz questions are going to be really derived and taken from what is written in these comments on each lecture slide. In addition to the lecture slides, the weekly reading will also have important information that might be included in the quizzes. Sometimes these weekly readings are optional, in which case they will not be included in the quizzes. But if they don't say optional, like this weekly reading, please read these 2 sections because those will be included in the quiz. After that, you can access the discussion forums, you can access the quizzes, and you can access the writing assignments. And so all of these modules are going to be really formatted exactly the same way. I think in this module, yes, the weekly reading was optional, so you will not expect any quiz questions to be based off of this weekly reading. Okay, so we also have tabs for the projects that we have in the course. So the slide deck presentation, you can click on this link to see where to hand it in, and the final paper, and that will have a link too. So there really shouldn't be too much of a need to navigate to these like discussion and private messages, this assignments, these quizzes and tests. It all should be pretty much embedded in each tab. The last thing I want to point out is that it is very important for you all to keep up with checking your grade book. So I can sometimes be behind on grading, and I do most of my grading over the weekend. So if you handed something in like a form, you know, that form with the responses is going to be finally due next week, Friday. If you do not see a grade by the third week, please shoot me an email, especially if you handed in your discussions or your assignments late. Because the Lima is not great at notifying me every time a submission is turned in. So I could miss some. And just to be consistent with my grading, if I don't receive an assignment at the time of grading, I will put a 0. So if you see that and you know you handed an assignment, just send me an email. I have no problem whatsoever going back, apologizing, grading your assignment and inputting that in the grade book. And then the very last thing I want to talk about is late assignments and accommodations. So I'm a pretty flexible instructor when it comes to making accommodations for, you know, unforeseen circumstances like illnesses, God forbid, deaths in the family, what have you. What I do not really tolerate or appreciate is when people take advantage of this flexibility. And so I usually have about 1 to 2 students every semester that will email me saying, you know, Dr. Medoff, Professor, I'm so sorry I couldn't get these assignments in. I was working really late. I'm working 18 jobs. My aunt is very sick in the hospital. I was very sick with COVID. I wasn't feeling well, etc. Can I please have an extension? I'm very accommodating with providing an extension. And then what happens is I don't hear from that student all semester. And in the last week of school, they go, oh, here's all my assignments. And they hand in like 6 writing assignments and 3 form posts. And it's just a mess. On top of trying to grade the finals, trying to catch up on all these assignments that were submitted in the last week of school, I will not accept. And then I always get angry students saying, you know, you were going to give me an extension, and then it turns into a mess. So let's try to avoid that altogether and just, you know, if something happens, if something comes up and you're going to be a day or 2 late, that's totally fine. But make sure you hand in your assignment as soon as possible, and don't be late, because if that does happen, I will fail you. I don't like to, but it is just makes it fair for the rest of the class. So, and yeah, I think that is about it. So, like I said, if there's any questions, if there's any confusion involving the quiz questions or the forum discussions or the writing assignments or your final paper, definitely send me an email. I'd be happy to jump on a call and chat and look into it. So, with that, I will let you guys all go, and I hope we have an amazing semester. Good luck in your first week.